This video, I want to show you the trap of the 3D illusion, and I'm going to show you the one thing you must do to break free of it so that you can start to be in 5D reality. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron, and I help people expand their consciousness. Now, real quick, what I want you to do is to look at this. Like, look at this view, and look how beautiful what we call this, what this earth brings us. And in a way, you could say that this is still part of 3D reality. Let me show you this right here. Look how beautiful this view is right here. It's like 5:36 in the morning right now here in Costa Rica. And so what I'm saying, this is the Airbnb right over here. And the thing that actually really inspired me is that I have a friend that lives in Costa Rica that came here, and that's actually with, Lior and I are staying here. I'm gonna actually move the camera over here. I think this will be a little bit different than usual. So bear with me for a minute. There's a pool guy here, and I feel bad because anytime he comes, I'm like, nope, I gotta finish filming. And then he's like, I just wanna clean the pool. A sec, okay. So now here's the thing that I really wanted to share, and here's what actually inspired me. I was talking to my friend Ellie, who is actually from Costa Rica. I actually went to high school with her back in Las Vegas. She lives here, she's a teacher here. She's traveled all around the world. And one place that she lived for a period of time is she lived in South Korea. She's lived in Indonesia. She's lived a whole bunch of cool places. But one thing that she told me she did is that she went to North Korea for 5 days. It's back when I think it was more acceptable and more easy to do for people to go to North Korea. But she went to North Korea for 5 days, and she said it was incredible. By incredible, it was just mind-blowing how some of the people live there and how controlled it is. People live in this little bubble in North Korea, and they really believe that that's the way the reality works. They're told, in North Korea, it's completely controlled, the perspectives are completely controlled, and people many times have to escape to get out of the the society of North Korea where everything's controlled and suppressed. And one thing she said that was very interesting is that one of the guides, one of the people that brings people into North Korea, for the 5 days, and when she's there, she says everything is very controlled. You're not allowed to wander off by yourself. You have to eat a certain amount of, you're able to eat at a certain time. You have to do this at a certain time. You're only allowed to stay with your group for the tour guides and stuff. And she said that the tour guide is also somebody that helps people that break free of North Korea. She helps them, or this tour guide helps them to integrate back into society once they break free. And she said that something's very interesting is because they're so, in a way, kind of brainwashed to believe that there's a certain narrative about how the Korean War went, I believe, or certain wars went. When they come out, it's hard for them to reorient to the way reality really works because it's so different than the rigid belief system they've been put in because they've been controlled and suppressed. And in a way, there's an illusion there of 3D in North Korea, and I'm going to explain how this relates to us, because the people in North Korea are given access to the intranet, a form of the internet that's completely controlled. And therefore they think that they're seeing everything that's out in reality. However, they're only getting a small sliver of it, and it's exactly controlled of what the narratives they want them to see. So they may say, oh, this is what happened in the Korean War, or this is what happened, and they actually believe that this is the way it happened because that's what they were told growing up. So then when they get out, if they ever get out, because they have to kind of break free of being in North Korea, people that live there, if they ever do, it's kind of a shock to their system of the way reality really works, because they've been kept inside that bubble for so long, and they've been in a way suppressed, and they've only, they work jobs, and they have a certain lifestyle, but it's in complete unawareness of how reality really works and how free they could actually be. Now, when we look at that, here's what I realized is, first off, the shock that there is when people get out of North Korea, and then they realize that they were in this little box, and they are told things like, they say, oh, the Americans will try to, or the, other people from outside of the North Korea will try to tell you this is the way the war went down, but it's not true, or something like that. And then that shocks them because this is exactly what they said would happen. But of course, it's the little belief system that they were initially put in of things that weren't true, that would almost make them feel like they needed to stay in North Korea. They probably make them feel so much fear. It's like if you go outside North Korea, it's very bad and it's a horrible world and you want to stay in here. And they're in a way brainwashed to believe that in North Korea. Now, this is what I found interesting. In a similar way, that's actually what happens even in the United States. I don't say this in a negative way. I'm not saying this so that people become fearful or afraid. But what I am saying is that in a way, for a long period of time, the media, the things that come out on the media, the things that come out that we see, that we interpret, the whole political system that's set up that keeps us kind of distracted from the truth of reality of who we really are as spiritual beings. When you look at many ways that the society is ran, there's still a certain level of that same illusion put on us that distracts us from who we really are. You know, when I first went through my spiritual awakening, I became aware that we are eternal spiritual beings living temporary human experiences. I became aware that our thoughts direct our life experience, and that if we change our thoughts, we change our life. And one of the first things I wondered was, why did I learn this through having to, you know, stumble across meditation? Nobody recommended I meditate. I literally stumbled across as a final option because I felt so desperate and so confused and so much desperation. That then I go within and then I found this out. Why wasn't I taught this in school? Why did I find it out this way? But then I found out and I realized that part of the 3D illusion, it's set up so that people aren't aware of their own power. There's a certain level of control that's been happening for a period of time on our planet. And that control keeps us within a certain box. And there's a certain purpose behind that control. Now here's the thing. This lifetime right now, I believe that we are meant to break out of that rigid belief system. We are meant to break out of that control and take our power back. That's what I believe we're doing in this lifetime right now, in the 3D illusion. First off, let's define what the 3D illusion is. Think of 3D as that of, in a way, the very beginnings of the human experience. It's the physical experience. It's duality, good, bad, light, dark, up, down. It's this experience of duality. Many times in 3D civilization, there will be a certain level of control because there are certain beings that don't believe in their own power, so therefore the way they become powerful is by kind of putting people in a little belief box in a way, and then they feel more powerful. And then what you could call 4 and 5D levels of consciousness is when our vibration begins to increase and we realize unity. We realize we're all one once we get into a 5D level of consciousness. Whereas we're all connected, and that what we put out is what we get back, because what we do to someone else, we do to another aspect, we do to another aspect of ourselves. Now, the thing is let's go even a little bit deeper than I was going to go in this video. Now, if you want more information about this, because what I'm about to say is pretty esoteric, you can check out Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon has over 19 books, which are transcripts from her hypnosis sessions. She's been doing it since the 1970s. And what she does is get people to a very deep level of hypnosis, where then what happens is their higher self comes through. And as their higher self comes through, they're able to relay certain information. And you could ask questions like, why did I incarnate at this time? Why did I meet this person in my life? What was the purpose of this relationship? What is my purpose in life? What do I do in the higher realms, since I'm an eternal spiritual being? What were my past lives? These are the questions that people ask in these QHHT sessions. Now, in them as well, Dolores Cannon has interviewed people from all over the world, and there's been a very consistent theme through many different people. Many people have said that the reason they're here on Earth at this time is to go through the Great Awakening, is to wake up to who they are and to go through this mass shift in consciousness that's happening on the planet. We are moving from what is called a 3D level of consciousness into a 4 and 5D level of consciousness, which is a higher level of consciousness, which is more connected to our heart, more connected to love. This is also, let me just little note as well, this is a physical ascension in vibration, not a, you know, something where we're here now and then we phase out into a completely new reality that's beyond any reference point here. I believe that this is meant to happen in body, and I believe that it is happening now. And if you look around, you'll see more and more people waking up to who they are. Now, the thing that's consistent is Dolores Cannon, through all these different QHHT sessions, which all her books are just transcripts of these sessions, people say that they come here to go through this shift in consciousness, to go from 3D to 4 and 5D level, which is what we're all doing right now. Now, the thing is what she says happens. We're gonna go a little bit deeper here now. What she said happened, and she didn't even say it. What the people that she was, that were in this hypnosis, that were, you know, bringing through their higher mind, many people have said what happened is in the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, there was a call put out into the universe where Earth said she needs help because we were starting to experiment with nuclear bombs. And when we experience with nuclear bombs, it has a very harsh side effect on the Earth because it is very bad to the atmosphere. It is very bad to Earth herself. And Earth is a living being. Earth, we are like the cells on Mother Gaia. It is literally a living being that is breathing, that has an atmosphere, that has different chakra points on the world, which I know is an esoteric concept, but if you study the law of one as well, there's a lot of bugs out here. If you study the law of one as well, you'll see that this is, you know, that's something that's very often talked about. However, that call was put out because Mother Earth was in danger of destroying herself because of the beings that were on it that were causing nuclear wars and stuff like that. Now, not only that, when nuclear bombs go off, it doesn't just affect our reality, it affects the neighbor realities, other realities that are close by, other star systems, because it sends a ripple out into the universe that then affects it. Now, because of that, that is one time that then there can be intervention. Now, by intervention, it means normally you let a society, a world, or whatever you call it, a 3D reality, maybe Earth, figure things out on their own. There's no intervention really. And that's just like, it's kind of like in Star Trek almost. It's like you don't intervene with a certain society or certain civilization at a certain level of consciousness. Now, in a way, what happened is many of us, if you're watching this video right now, then you are one person that has been one of the first to wake up, compared to the collective consciousness especially, because many people are still deeply asleep. And you then are also one of these people that I'm talking about. Now, what happened is this call was put out, and what happened is then higher vibrational beings, which were all really high vibrational beings, we decided to come here to then wake up to who we are, to then help other people to wake up. That call was put out, the call for help, and then it attracted souls to come back that had a tie, that had a connection to Earth, to then come back so that we could remember who we are, so that we could go through the shift in consciousness, which then helps everyone around, so that we can go through this collective shift together and not destroy planet Earth like we did maybe in Atlantis times, which is a whole nother video in of itself. Now, the way that we influence this reality is we have to play according to its rules. So for example, you might say, well, why don't ETs just land and give us the technology that helps us to facilitate, you know, cleaning the ocean waters and all this stuff? Why don't we just do that? Well, first off, we have that technology. As a society, as a collective, we just don't use it. It's been around since Tesla, a lot of the like free energy and stuff like that. However, the other reason is that is going against the free will. That's just intervening in a very rigid way, when instead, what we decided to do is we would play according to the rules of this reality. One of the rules of this reality is that we must forget who we are, so then we can then remember who we are. So one thing that we decided to do is, out of compassion, we knew it wasn't going to be easy. Thing is, well, you probably knew deep down it wasn't going to be easy to come here, to forget who you are, to then remember who you are, because a lot of times we go through pain. There's many other systems in reality, in the universe, where you incarnate into and you retain the memory of who you are. You retain knowing you are an eternal spiritual being. What makes this so painful is that we completely forget that, for the most part. Or it's conditioned out of us, at least. Now, in this reality, though, we would play according to its rules, incarnate in, and then remember who we are, to then help other people wake up to who they are, which is exactly what's happening right now on the planet. So the way and the one thing we must do in order to ascend into this higher vibrational reality and to really just get out of the trap of the 3D illusion is to stop believing in it. It's to question it. It's to question our reality. It's to question what we've been shown, to question the news, to question the media, to question the limiting beliefs that we're giving, to question the belief that we need to compare ourselves to everyone else to see if we're good enough, to question the narrative that you have to work a 9-to-5 job and then do this certain way and then live in this reality, to question these beliefs. In the same way that you can see, from the outside looking in, it's easy to see. It's the hardest when you're on the inside of it. For example, it's easy for us to see people in North Korea that may believe in certain things they were told and kept believing that it's fearful if you were to leave North Korea and, they'd have to escape. It's not like they can just walk out. They'd have to somehow escape. And to tell them, you don't even want to escape because it's so dangerous and there's all these people out there that are going to do horrible things and, North Korea is the safest place under the dictatorship of this one guy. Well, of course, they don't say it like that. They say, oh, he's the savior. But you see, it's easy to see that, right? But the most insidious thing is that that's already been going on in our own reality. So how much longer are we going to live under the hypnosis of watching the news, of getting stimulated by things happening, by believing in things that don't actually serve us, by believing we have to do and live life according to the rules of everyone else in society, of social conditioning? The point of this is understanding and seeing it for the illusion that it is. The trap of the 3D illusion is the longer you believe in it, the more you feel confined and the more you feel trapped. The key is learning also observation, observing your own thoughts, observing your own belief systems. I observed the belief that I had ADHD. That's when I was then able to change it. I observed the belief that I have to work a 9-to-5 job I'm not passionate about. Then I started to wire in a new reality of me making videos daily, becoming a full-time YouTuber, and now I live that lifestyle. I live in that reality. The thing you can learn to do is to question your reality. Question your reality. Don't even take my word for it. These things I'm sharing with you right now are, I've spent years, and even now I'm always learning new things. I've read hundreds or thousands of books. I've listened to hundreds or thousands of seminars. I've done thousands of hours of meditation within myself. This is what I found for myself. So what I encourage you to do is to find out what's true for you. Maybe you go deep within and you're like, you know what? This 3D illusion's where it's at. I really enjoy this. Maybe that's the thing. But question reality. Question what I say. Question what you're shown in reality for the way reality works. Question your beliefs. Question your beliefs about who you are. Maybe limiting beliefs that you have. But the trap of the 3D illusion is that we believe it is so real. One of the things is we talk about the back government and we talk about things like that, which when I first went through my awakening, I studied that quite a bit because I became aware, well, why don't people know about this? Well, there's a reason people don't know about it, and that's because it's if you keep people in ignorance, they don't know their own power. Then I started to do my own research, and I became aware that, yes, there's a certain level of control that's been happening. The bank systems, the money's not backed by gold. It's just this paper that we agree is real, and therefore we play according to its rules. But when you learn certain things like this, it then wakes you up more and more. However, for me, I studied it a little bit too much, actually, and I started to gain almost experiencing negative effects of it because I was so, angry towards the way society was. However, the thing that I realized is the true power is within every single one of us. What I mean is we really outnumber the few people that have the control. We outnumber them so much. If you've seen the movie Ants, watch the movie Ants, where then the ants start to realize how much power they have together, and they take over the grasshoppers who are suppressing them, keeping them working like slaves to create their kingdom. So the key, watch that movie. You'll see a lot of symbology in that movie. It's amazing. It's a little kid's cartoon movie. It's called Ants. A-N-T-Z, I believe. And, but the key is knowing that the only power they have is because we believe they have power. And a lot of people aren't aware of it, so it just remains under their peripheral. The key is knowing, though, not giving power to that, is knowing the true powers within us. That in a way, because we're all connected, we're all eternal spiritual beings, they're doing an act of compassion by playing out this drama so that then we can then take our power back. You see? So, in a way, they're just unaware of who they really are, playing a certain narrative. And this is about us realizing that and choosing how powerful we are of that awareness. So the main message for today is to become aware of your true power, to question your reality, to understand you are an eternal spiritual being living a temporary human experience. And to remember that. And to not be afraid to step into the unknown. It can be a little scary to step into the unknown, to question certain beliefs. Even some of the things I share with you right now may be triggering you in certain ways because it's not according to the narrative that you've been taught. And it may seem a little bit scary, but what I encourage you to do is to question even what I say. To go within yourself and to see what resonates with you. To question the beliefs that you've been telling yourself, to understand you're capable of so much more than you can imagine. But you just have to question those limiting beliefs, realize how powerful you are, and your whole life will change. Now, if you want a meditation that will help you tap more into this, I have what is called a Starseed meditation. I know Starseed's a little esoteric, but none the esoteric idea, but it's a very powerful meditation that I have. Read some of the comments below to see what's possible. Listen for 21 days. I think it'll transform your life. And it's a Starseed meditation for connecting to higher vibrational energy, 5D energy, which is what we're moving into. A 5D reality is where we're all connected, where we realize that connection that we all have. And it's something that in this lifetime, I believe, will become a part of our reality, the more of us that wake up. So you are at the leading edge. You are meant to be, I believe, you're a light worker meant to help other people wake up. And what I encourage you to do is to tap into that energy and to realize your true power. So listen to the meditation bowl for 21 days. I think it'll transform your life. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you on the next video. Peace, much love, and namaste.